cold, the lead's long dead. Winter's chill had settled in the bone. Another name unsaid, a silent statue, blind and made of stone. But thawing ground gives way to sleeping roots. A whispered tip, a forgotten clue, dusting off the long forgotten suits, a single thread to pull the story through. The spring brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The witness stand, a garden newly tilled. Each memory a seed now forced to grow. The web of lies so carefully distilled begins to fray, the hidden colors show. The spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The blindfold lifts, the sword is raised, no shadow left, the price is paid. The verdict's written on the waking ground. Justice marches, justice marches. Renewal comes with the turning tide. And in the spring, there's nowhere left to hide.
Good afternoon. Testing audio check. Yes. Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Phoenix Talks. I'm your host, Phoenix. Thank you for jumping in today. If you've never been to a stream, hold on to your coffee, hold on to your snacks, whatever you brought to the table, because here we rise above assumptions. We challenge the noise. We challenge the lies. We challenge what the media's tried to sell us. And we think with open minds, because here every question matters, every perspective is welcome, and every little tiny puzzle piece gets us to the moment that we get to put it on the table and we dig for answers. So if that sounds like you, where we think with open minds, I mean, some of us are very headstrong, right? But we are here for one reason, and this community shows the frick up, and that's to find the truth. So never stop asking those questions. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this amazing mission that we've been on, because we have been able to uncover so much. Y'all, this is going to be the stream that many people are going to say, oh my God, how in the freaking world did this happen? Believe me, you are going to ask yourself 3 or 4 times before your head hits the pillow tonight. This is the stream that you are going to go dig. If you're not a digger and you have not looked into the Idaho 4 case and you just listen in, I guarantee you tonight you are probably going to start looking at some documents, start looking at some pictures, start digging into this case, because this is the case they hoped we would never look into. This is what they didn't want us to see, folks. I've been showing you a little all along, and I'm going to keep on showing you because I feel that's what I've been called to do. Show you what's really happening in the Idaho 4 case. So welcome in every single one of you. I'm going to start this off with a video and then we are going to get into it. Hello, I see all you OGs in the house. I see all you continuous, just amazing men and women in this chat. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are a safe and welcoming chat. And had ate too much voodoo cake. What is voodoo cake? I'm interested to know. All right. Lulu Bell, welcome into the chat. Hello, Miss Misinformation. Lola Garcia. Hola, amigos. Good afternoon. Dina, Brenda, Les, Crime Rat. I love it. Minnesota. Is that MN? Peony, good afternoon to you. Patty, good afternoon. Good afternoon, every single one of you. If you have not hit the thumbs up, swipe down, hit that thumb up and swipe back in because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Lisa, good afternoon. Welcome, Jackie. Jackie's in the house today. Whoop, whoop. Congratulations, all you birthday winners. Yesterday was so fun. Oh, my goodness. I'm making sourdough cinnamon rolls. Yum. Have you ever made the sourdough cookie? Oh my gosh. Sourdough cinnamon cookie dough rolls. Holy moly. We don't eat sweets too often, but man. Woo, new subscriber found you interesting listening from the UK. Come on in, pop it. Congratulations. We are so happy you are a new subscriber. And yeah, you can definitely binge on the last year almost of videos. It is wild and crazy, guys. What do you all think about these fingerprints? Well, welcome, Craig or Craiger. I love it. Some of these names they're coming in. Oh, it's making me hungry. Yes, once again, a very big congratulations to all the winners and future winners. Yes, absolutely. I had the munchies. Yeah, that sounds good too, but oh my gosh, I overdid it last night. Went to a beautiful romantic dinner, birthday dinner with my husband. I couldn't eat that much. It just seemed like we skipped lunch. I should have never skipped lunch. um Overdid it on a little bit of the rolls they brought out, a little bit of like crackers that they brought out. It was a really nice steakhouse, and he took me obviously afterwards to get a birthday cake, and I told him, no, don't spend that money on Dairy Queen birthday cake. So we got Dairy Queen cupcakes. If you've ever seen those are so cute. And came home and we had a little bonfire and ate our cupcakes with just a really nice evening. It was really nice. And yeah, way too much for me, especially if you know I had food poisoning almost twice and within 2 months. So I am trying to take it easy. So let's do this. Let me ask you a question. The prints had you at, yeah, the prints are very telling. And I'm going to explain it a little bit further in detail because some people are like, no, no, no. Let me tell you what happened. Well, Chicky Poo, read the documents. Look at the forensics notes, please. Okay, guys, if you're going to read these documents, read them all. I've not seen the fingerprints yet. Very interesting. Oh, you're going to be interested. Oh my gosh, we have so much leftovers. So hubby got like the surf and turf lobster and a fillet, and I got braised ribs. Oh, the food was delicious. I think there was way too much garlic in it for me. Holy moly. Did a 3-year roll like child prince, right? That's what I thought. What do they gotta hide, right? Yeah. What are they? Leftovers are the best. Haven't eaten them. I'm going to take it real slow. But let's get into the fingerprints, guys. If you have not seen this, if you have not read these prints, I'm going to show you. I know we've gone over these a few times, and this is important leading into what I'm going to say next. You know, I will always give you a freaking fireball. Okay. I seen those prints. There are a couple of latent prints. But some of the things that we are going to talk about, you guys are going to have a second take. You're going to start digging. I think our nest here, all you amazing nesters, you're going to be like, why and how did we miss this freaking, how did we miss it? How did we miss this? That's what it should be entitled. And when I say what they didn't want us to see, I'm not talking about the investigators. I'm not talking about the state who released these public documents. I'm talking about, oh, Phoenix is going to get feisty. I don't know if I took my meds today. My blood pressure is up, probably from all that salty food. But let me tell you, yeah, so does my dog Les. He sits there and begs. Not really like begs. He sits there and looks at me and looks at me and stares at me like, Mama, you're not going to share that with me. These guys, I'm telling you, okay, who do you think I'm talking about they didn't want us to see? Amanda's in the house. Whoop, whoop. Welcome in, Amanda. Good to see you, honey. What do you think when I say they didn't want us to see? Not the state. The state released these documents, then they went back and deleted them. They released the videos, they released the pictures, then they went back and deleted the pictures and then redacted and still haven't released them. Who do you think that I'm talking about? The people involved didn't want us to see. Let's think about this for a minute, okay? They didn't want us to see these reports. They were hoping that they got their guy. He went to prison. And all of a sudden, we find out there's nothing linking him. There's no stalking. There's no nothing. No crime scene. No, I mean, think about it, guys. Let's take a step back and let's look at this from a 10,000 foot view perspective. Okay. Drop a one if you have been questioning everything in evidence that doesn't add up. Drop a one. I want to see if we are like collectively thinking alike. Drop a one. They didn't want us to see the house for sure. They knocked it down, took it down. Yep. It's not the feds. The feds have information that they are not going to share with us. ISP dropped the documents when I requested them on Halloween. Odd to say. They've been FOIAing videos. They've been getting them. And I think because they have already had been getting them, they release them to them, which makes sense. Some of the things I'm asking for is coming back with privacy all over it. So I must be getting and asking for the right things. And no seeing here or house inside. Yeah. Yeah. This evidence that we've been given. Now, keep in mind, we're looking for things that don't make sense, that doesn't add up. Or does it? We're not accusing anyone. We're not defaming. We're not slandering. We're looking at the evidence that had been given to us in the Idaho 4, no matter where it came from. We're not going to rehearse headlines. We're not going to regurgitate rumors. We've debunked so much in this case that we know where we're headed. We're going deeper because when you slow down and actually examine the evidence details in the Idaho 4 case, some things raise eyebrows, not because they prove anything on their own, but because they leave questions. And in this case, as serious as this case is, questions matter. So let's do this. We're sticking to reported facts, court documents, and logical analysis. We're not accusing, we are examining. Now let's watch the video together. Documents that they never wanted us to see in the state of Idaho v. Brian Koberger, where fingerprint forensics analysis showed there was one male and possibly
two female latent prints that they use Amido black on. Now, as always, I'm going to show you the proof in the documents, but of course, they probably never wanted us to see this. But there are some massive inconsistencies in a video that I'm going to share with you right now that I just want you to know. I will point out the inconsistencies. Let's do this.
I never locked a single door in Moscow. When Dylan had called, I didn't think it was urgent.
Dylan
So I
never
started
called.
walking to Zeno's
Somebody
house,
went over
and
to their apartment.
When we got there, Dylan
All right, I want to hold that video right there. We were told that clearly I believe it was Lyndon Beck said someone came over to their apartment. Okay. I showed this the other day. Lyndon Beck said he went over to their apartment. Let me see if I have this teed up for you. I sure hope I do, because I thought I had it. And I know we listened to it the other day. Lyndon Beck clearly said she showed up. Connor over on YouTube, give him a shout out. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna grab this Lyndon Beck video. Where is it? Where are you? Here it is. Right from the screen. I haven't edited anything. You know me. I'm gonna show you 100% the proof. Here we go. Lyndon Beck says,
Sorry, I don't know you got it. I stay inside most of the time. Okay. I will apologize now for asking.
let me grab the actual, 1 second, transcript. I'm going to show it for you for yourself. You can see it right here on the right side of the screen. Not screen. Okay, they woke up at 2, yada, yada, yada. Okay, come to the parking lot. Okay, you guys woke up at that point. We went back to sleep at 5. Let's start in where he says about 9 a.m. Okay? Okay, let's start at 9 a.m. because this is key.
I'd say probably around 9. Maybe earlier, I'm not really sure.
About 9 or maybe earlier. Okay, they woke up in the morning at 9 or maybe earlier. Now, Lyndon Beck has been very clear about the timeline, and this timeline is going to make sense as soon as I keep pointing it out.
Sleep much.
Yeah.
But
Maybe even earlier. They didn't sleep much. So basically what he just said is they got up at 2 to 3 when that happened. Whatever happened, happened. And then they all sat around in the living room between whatever and 5. They went back to sleep, according to him, but they might have even got up much earlier. Did they even sleep at all? Did they sleep at all? Because here comes the bombshell. Get ready.
and then came into the room.
And then someone came into the room. Okay?
Okay.
And
He doesn't say who came into the room.
then I think, and she sounded pretty scared. She said there was somebody.
Okay, so someone came into the room and either told him hearsay that Dylan was scared, yada, 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 or someone came into the room and he's saying she sounded pretty scared. I don't know which one.
Somebody in her house last night.
Somebody was in their house last night. This sounds like first-hand knowledge.
They ran downstairs and locked themselves in a room because she saw somebody in her house and she only sees.
Okay, this is where he stepped on his own tongue. I'm going to rewind it back, listen to him catch himself.
Saw somebody in her house and she only sees.
She saw somebody in her house and she only sees
nose and his chin or something like that.
Okay.
And then she like was freaking out. She wanted us to go over there. So
She wanted us to go over there. Okay, now listen to what he says next. Get ready. This is gonna blow you the frick away.
got her stuff and
So we got her stuff
went over there.
and went over there. So we got her stuff and went over there. Who is he talking about? Dylan? Is he talking about Dylan came over to the apartment, told so-and-so, saw something, wanted us to go over there. So we got her stuff and went over there. Who was this? Now remember, Dylan's prints, Dylan has been excluded from the latent prints that was on the sliding glass door, okay? That they used amino black. What am I talking about? I am talking about the L5 fingerprints. L5 fingerprints right here. This is the document that they deleted after they released them. And this is document report number 5. And this was on 11/21/2022. Quickly, they excluded Maddie and Kaylee, and they were not able to identify if these prints were Xana or Ethan. Okay? And there were 3 remaining other latent prints captured at 1122. Keep this in mind, guys. This is going to make a lot of sense before the end of this stream. All right? They were marked and they put digital images in the ISP. But when you come down here and look at the value, they use the medium of amino black. I don't know how many times that we have seen amino black. Has everybody seen that? Yes. Okay, we have seen that. They excluded Kaylee right here in the notes, and they excluded Mogan, which reflects right above I just showed you. But they could not exclude Kernoodle because number 6 delta side was not clear, need a better recording. They needed more prints. Chapin, inconclusive, number 4 and 9 delta side are not clear, need a better recording. So they needed to go back and reprint Xana and Ethan to see if their fingerprints match this. Well, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, didn't match them. So then they went back and they said, well, we need more prints of every single person that was in that house. And let me show you right before these prints what was noted. Actually, it comes later, sorry. So they use amino black. We know that they had to pick up some proteins. Inside and outside the sliding door were prints that they needed to use amino black. And they found a weak positive for blood on the sliding door. Yes, folks, a weak positive. How do I know that? You go through all the freaking forensics reports, and I'll give you that report. I didn't plan on it, but I'm going to give it to you right now. On L5. L5 in the notes said that they did test. I've made plenty of videos on this. Let me hope I've got that L5 still noted. And hold on one second for me. This is going to be a long one because they are handwritten notes. And it shows the exact location that they used L5. And it said a weak positive, but it was still there. Okay. So then it goes through and you look at points, no correspondence to Chapin. And then they go down and then they tell you about Maddie, Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and there's a lot of more notes in this file. But the key point I want you to look at is after they ran these, they ran the prints on, and they even make a note. I need Jack, Bethany, and Dylan's prints. Nothing was found on them. Okay. L3 was a fabric impression and L4 was the shoe impression. So they noticed that there was a fabric impression on the ground and then the possible shoe impression, not analyzed yet. That was the first report. And then they started on to L5, L6, and started to exclude people. We got all their fingerprints. They even went back and did better prints. They checked it with Brian Koberger, no prints, did the feet prints, did all the fingers, did all the palms, because remember the miscellaneous palm and the footprint left possibly on the metal table in Xana's room? Of course. So they started checking all these prints, every single print. There were no prints on file for any of these people. None. Stay with me. Then they went back and they said, okay, L5 was verified. There was a little poor clarity, but we're still going to run them. Didn't find anybody. Went back, narrowed it down, got more prints from, and these are the actual prints themselves on the door, on the wall, on the slider. And they went back, got more prints. Okay, got it. Went back, got more prints. Okay. So this is a different report. You can just hold on to that report. That's just the markers that actually had to be fixed that were wrong. And then they went back, and then let me look for 136. Hold on. I don't think it's in this one because 136 is in another forensics document, which they split up. Let me pull 136 up. Now, there is sensitive information here that I do not want to accidentally show you, but they even went back, okay, and they looked at Emily and Hunter. This is key. All right? They looked back. They excluded Emily right here. They excluded Emily from one print. Just one. And they could not do that for Hunter. And they couldn't do it for Emily in another print. Okay, so they both were included in 6, and Emily was in Hunter Johnson. They included both of them for 6, and Hunter Johnson was not. He was included because they could not totally 100% exclude him. And they said, I need prints on Bethany, Jack, and any other person that were present in the residence at that time. This is what Tara Martinez, who was coming to testify, was going to say to the defense. Guys, I had to go back 3 or 4 times just to get them. It was like pulling teeth. It was the contempt of court, which actually was filed, I think, 24 times and kept asking for more information. More information, please. I need more information. You guys are not working with me. Somebody needs to go back. Somebody needs to go ahead and get these prints so we can do our job and either include or exclude these people and eliminate them. But no. Then they went back and they wanted to get prints from Hunter to totally be able to eliminate him from this. And guess what they said? They finally got Hunter Johnson's and they got Emily Allant's finally in April of 23. And what did the crime scene examiner note? What did they note yet again? I need clearer exemplars. Please give me better pictures. I now can exclude Emily because the ones that you sent were reasonable, but I cannot exclude 9 or 10 because I need clearer rolls on these fingerprints, please. And for the L6, look at the examiner's notes. Sorry, it's not highlighting what I want, but I can read them. They said on 4/23, I can now, no points of correspondence to Allant, but Leighton is not clear enough to exclude. So they put inconclusive. And then they wrote, there is some correspondence to number 7 Johnson, but there's a couple of differences. I need better prints. I need better prints yet again. And then they said I couldn't it was inconclusive because Alliance showed a similar ridge flow present. It didn't mean they excluded her. It means there were similarities in both of these prints that they could not make a exclude. That's exactly what it says, folks. They could not exclude these two because there were similarities. And then they went back one more time. Whoops, sorry. There's some sensitive information in here I didn't want to put up on the screen. I should have been able to. There's Emily and there are Hunter's prints. Okay? Then they went back on the 24th, March 29, 2024 and said, look, I need better prints of Dylan. Get these so I can do my job. And they did. And guess what? They excluded her 100%. Those were not Dylan's prints on the sliding door. So when you think about whose prints were on the sliding door, it was not Dylan. It was not Dylan. So logically, who went over to Lyndon and Josie's apartment and said, so we got her stuff and we went over there? Whose stuff did they get? And who went over there? Josie? Who got their stuff? Who got their stuff?
So you and that
So you and Josie didn't go inside the scene. Okay, cool. Now we'll go back here.
Eggs in the house.
This is Emily Allant speaking in the Dateline documentary.
It's kind of like just hands on their mouth, like I don't know what's going on type thing.
Lyndon Beck's interview said
When
that
I was
somebody
going
came to
upstairs,
their
Chelsea
apartment.
was already in the house. We were just a bit behind. As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right.
Josie just said as soon as she stepped in the house, something wasn't right.
Like you could feel it almost.
Lyndon said they never went
The stairs are
inside.
immediately when you walk in the door to the
Now this is Josie speaking, guys.
left. And then you walk upstairs, and there's the living room. And then all the way down the hall is Anna's room. Hunter was ahead of me.
She says they never went in. Lyndon Beck just said that Josie never went inside. And here she's saying in her own words that she is behind Hunter and she is walking into Xana's room.
I stepped foot in the house and immediately was pushed out and Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
So she was inside the house, but then she stepped foot in the house. That doesn't really make sense because, in fact, Hunter's prints right here could not be excluded from the print found on the sliding glass door.
Now, I just showed you that forensics document. Okay? That is a factual document. Now, that was in April. In June, they went back again and they tried to exclude him and they couldn't. Then they went back one more time in July of 24 and they still could not exclude him or Emily. They could not exclude them in fact.
They used one per all the documents. And they could not rule out Emily's fingerprints either. There is one additional female that there is possibility of it also being their fingerprints because it is similar, as the forensics analyst has put on their notes. I just can't tell you, reading these documents and court records and seeing everything now and the new videos, I had called this a murder/suicide months ago. And now hearing somebody on the cop cam say this themselves, shocking, shocking, shocking. I'll do a live tomorrow on these topics. Until then, be well.
That is the document that said they could not exclude. There was some similarities. These are experts, guys, not me. Okay. Then when you go down onto the next page, this is the actual page I just showed you live. I opened the page. These are some similarities to a few fingers and similar ridge flow. Cannot exclude. And then the next one, we'll get into the murder/suicide in a minute. They were not able to exclude them, Johnson, from one of them. And it said some similarity to a few fingers and the ridge flow. I'm not making this up. It's all there in the documents. Now, if we go over and look at the Dylan Mortensen, she was definitely 100% excluded from forensics. There is the official report. There are her official fingerprints. She was excluded. They took them again. Right there, the date is there. And then they tell us one more time that Hunter Johnson was accompanied by his mother, Jessica Hendricks. They went to Meridian and they fingerprinted his palms and fingerprint exemplars again. And she received them. She did them herself. The expert did them herself. Then the new report was made 40. This was done on the 21st of June 24. And she still could not exclude him from being L5. And the reason she gave was this. Right here on 7-1. Some similarity to a few fingers and similar ridge flow. Cannot exclude, people. Could not exclude. And that was the final answer 3 times for prints on July 1st, 24. Why do you think Anne kept going back? We need better prints. We need to get this evidence wrapped up. We need the information from the state. And then guess what happened? State's Exhibit 137, because the prints were not on file. Now, folks, we don't have all the documents. They have not released all the documents because I have not seen any exclusion for Jack DeCourt at all. None. I don't know if it's the 42 that I've been asking for, report number 42, that is missing out there in the internet world. But I have had no response from ISP for report number 42. And that I said that a long time ago. So then Tara Martinez gets this. She's the analyst. She's the expert. She's the one that was going to come to trial. And they get Bethany's fingerprints. They get digital fingerprints. They do all this. And guess what? They could not exclude her from L6 either. So now we have Emily. They could not just basically say it's not her. And then we have Bethany Funk. And what did they say about Bethany? Verified right here. Verified. Leighton 5, she was excluded 100%, but L6, some similarity to number 10 Funk, but dissimilarities are also present. Cannot fully exclude her at all. Cannot exclude at all. There were her prints. Couldn't exclude Emily or Bethany and perhaps Hunter. 3 individuals. And what did and that's the end of the reports. I asked for 42. There is no response back. But what did I ask just a couple of days ago? Maybe even a week or two ago. Does anybody remember what I kept asking for on the state's exhibits list? Let me pull that up again. I kept asking for, why did they leave this blank? Why did they leave the names blank on the exhibit list? Because they had to go back a few times and ask for these. Examination of forensic report right here. They left the names blank. Right here, guys. Kept asking, why did they just keep going back and forth? 40 were the new prints from Hunter. 41 was the new prints for Bethany. Wow. That makes a lot of sense. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why they didn't want us to see the evidence. Not the individuals. I'm talking about the agencies. I'm talking about the Moscow Police Department. I'm talking about people who have the ability to make something go away. Yes, folks, we live in a world where things can go away. Yes, we do. Let's watch. I did a report. I did a video after somebody commented, wait, a murder-uicide from the last video I showed you, and watch this. I got him. Let me put the audio on.
Jessica, that's exactly what I said when I heard this. Let's listen together. And I put the transcript on for you.
It's hard to fathom how whoever did.
Let me just say this in regards to the latent print. They used Amido Black. Amido Black, and it tested a weak positive for blood. So those prints on the sliding door L5 and 6 were supposed to be positive for blood. I'm going to be very clear on that, guys. There are people out there trying to divert you from this information. There are people out there trying to deceive you. Don't let them deceive you. Start reading these documents.
This didn't really leave a trail of where they went after.
Who is speaking in this video? Obviously, it was released on Connor's channel. I think he's had 32,000 views on this already. This is the original. I can show you where it came directly from there. I didn't manipulate anything in this video at all, but let's go back and listen to the rest of this. Just hard to fathom how whoever did this really didn't really leave a trail of where they went after. It's Morris and Lanier. Now remember, did Morris show up at the scene? Does anybody know for a fact if he or when he showed up at the scene? Because this is what really got me. Morris says, with authority, he wrote a report. He's the one that contacted the guy with the chicken cut. Remember, he cut his hand. This was Morris's report on, he went to go interview the chicken guy, that he cut his hand. He was, All right. There's only a few reports in here from Morris. He arrived on the 17th at 4:30. He went to go investigate the Kibbe Dome. He was actually following up with SB. He only wrote a few reports. Okay. He's also the one that night was at the door. He handed the log, and I escorted Blank to the funeral home. I stopped recording on my BWC while driving at approximately 23:30. Now, if we go over to Connor and we go and we watch this time frame, it was at 11:54. So I'm just going to scroll over 11:54 at Connor's. We're going to watch this live. I've not manipulated anything on this. I've got the transcript up that everyone can see it. Okay. And we're going to go right over here. It's just hard to fathom whoever did this didn't really leave a trail of where they went after. Now, Morris, in his reports that I just showed you, says that he went to the funeral, or they went to the funeral home. They turned off the recording at 21:30. Okay. But this is obviously still going, and he reactivated it and remained at 21:07. I remained blank as the two victims were offloaded. Now, this report time is off. It's wrong. I think it's wrong, because his body cam is still rolling, and Connor has the body cam right here, and it goes all the way to 22:17, and it's still Morris on the scene. So how can that be if right here his report says turned off his body cam? Right here. Right here. This is the body cam footage. This is the supplemental report. And this is the one where he said that somebody used my body cam and transported somebody to the Kibbe Dome. I don't know who it was that used my freaking body cam. But he did show up at 8:51. But it says that he turned off his body cam while driving at 9:30. It doesn't look like he's driving here to me. 21:30. 21:30? He's not driving. What the heck? Who's trying to hide what from us? This is at 21:30. He's not driving. I hope you guys are following me. I hope you're following what I'm putting down. Type a 1. Type a 1 if you're following me. This is 21:30. His report says he turned off the body cam while driving at 21:30 on the 13th. Do I have the right day? I have the right day. Check. Check. And then he reactivated at 21:37 at blank. I remained at blank. Two victims were offloaded. Well, 21:30, he wasn't driving. He was standing here at 21:24. Maybe there's a time discrepancy. I don't know. But this is 21:30. Now we're going to go right back to the time frame that he basically says, Connor, where did I put it? Transcript. And then he says, maybe the time's just off. Here it is. Let's listen together.
It's just hard to fathom how where they went after.
It's really hard to fathom whoever did this didn't leave a trail after. It's really hard.
Like you would think that everything's about the same.
Okay, so then he says, like you would think it's about the same, like when I first heard. He first heard. Who did he hear this from? What officer, what captain, was it Barrett? Because they were going to run everything through Captain Tyson Barrett. It wasn't Captain Lanier. He's standing right there. But who told Morris this fact? Who? They did leave a trail, but it was cleaned up. Wrong. And whoever told you that lied to you, because I'm going to prove it. And that was wrong. Who told Morris this was a murder-suicide? Just like Stacy Chapin said, this isn't a murder-suicide. It's not a love triangle. It's not drugs. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks, people. Think about that phrase for a minute. Who in the world told Morris it was a murder-suicide? Because when I first heard it, I thought, no way was this a murder-suicide. And listen to the rest of what he says. He says it, not me.
Like, that's when I first heard, which everyone was like, no way. I thought it was a murder-suicide. Like, the suspect was like, victim.
The victim, like the suspect, was like victim, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Drop a 1 if you think, honestly, that things were planted, staged, contaminated, crime scene messed up. Drop a 1 if you think that. There's 151 of you in right here, and I'm giving you freaking fireballs of thunder. You're going to get it in a minute. It's going to come all together and hit you like a freaking fireball. Nah, this wasn't a murder-suicide. It wasn't a love crime of passion. It wasn't drugs. MPD number 6 is Morris's scene security. Hold, please, and I'll share the doc with you. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Amanda. I'm going to go over to MPD 6 in a minute. Morris didn't write very many reports. I think there was one of... Oh, here it is. There is a prior Smith Payne. Here's an entry log right here. Officer Morris was here to assist, and he stayed until 21:15. How could that freaking be if he's standing here until 21:15? Whose body cam really is this then? This says 21:24. I was relieved by Officer Morris at approximately 17:50 hours. Something is not right. Aaron Morris went and interviewed and took out the Ford and the Chevy center stacks. Let's see what other reports he's got in here. Responded to, he arrived at 1 o'clock. He was advised by Captain Barrett to respond to work to do a homicide investigation. At around 16:30, I relieved Officer Rosinski, and Smith showed up. Jennings entered at 17:03 hours and exited at what? We're seeing way different times right now. Jennings entered and exited. Blaker exited. Captain Payne exited and went in. We're seeing so many different times. Officer Morris, who took over my duties. The following day, I learned that a sheath was found. The following day, but not that night. I took over and I was relieved for about 2 hours. Body cam, yes, that was Rosinski, and said Morris. I learned, all right, Morris. He removed the ECUs. Looks about it. Times don't line up, guys. We're looking at the body cam. All right, so let me run over here. That he was caught on camera. Now you're seeing the goofiest shit on the internet. You're seeing it live. Okay, let's go back and let's just look at this.
And if you look at the temperature, that would have froze solid last night.
Now we're going to talk about the fence line. Remember, they took a forensics impression of the cast of the shoe print outside. Now he's talking about more evidence. That they got a shoe print at the fence line, and he's trying to make common sense about when this happened. He's even questioning himself. Look at him talk about it when he says this doesn't make sense. Before, I think this is after.
If it doesn't look like it.
No. And that cast.
And the cast they took over there, 100 people a week from that fence right there. What cast is he talking about? He's talking about the shoe print, right? The one print that they made an imprint of in the forensics of the shoe that went across the fence line, the cast. Now, let me just ask you, this was about 9 hours after 911 was called, and they already have a cast. CSI already went out there and got a cast of the print by the fence. And he's saying that 100 people a week jump over that fence right there or by that fence. 100 people a week partying by that fence. And this just froze like overnight. He continues to say, if you look at the temperature.
100 people a week go over that fence right there. Yeah. And if you look at the temperature, that would have froze solid last night. And it would not have, or 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, and it would not have thawed out in the day.
So he's saying the only night that it would freeze would be that night, and it wouldn't have thawed out. Of course, then they say you're going to get land blasted because the media is going to be wild, but they're going to run everything through Captain Tyson Barrett.
But I can tell. Yeah, you're going to get land basted. I just have questions. They're running everything through Tyson.
All right, so they're going to run everything through Tyson, who actually just retired, I believe, the year before after this. So it is wild. Now, that slow had been laying around there for a week. But in the back, he's talking about it froze that night. And they got a imprint, a footprint. Okay. I was looking it up. That was in 2020. Okay, got it. Perfect. Now, let's put the pieces together here. And I'm going to ask you a logical question. All right. So we're talking about a print, a print outside that didn't freeze, that froze, actually. It froze. They got that print. All right. Raise your eyebrow to that one. They got a print. How about the print the latent one single footprint by Dylan's door. Did that one make sense to you? Just one print that was latent. There was no other latent prints found walking around the house. Just that one single print in front of Dylan's door, miraculously, they found. You guys know which one I'm talking about, right? Let me get a picture of it for you just so you know. It was right outside Dylan's door. That has never made sense. Okay? I'm putting all the pieces together, folks. Never made sense why there would be one latent print outside her door and no other bloody prints anywhere else, even when the forensics were looking at where the prints were going. Never found one. Don't you think that's a little odd? No freaking way that could have happened. L4 was that print, just one, outside her bedroom door that we keep asking, how in the world did that get there? There were no other prints found. No other prints found. And yes, that snow could have been there a week old. We're talking about the print that froze in the snow that they did get a print of. It's in the forensics documents. This one lonely, itty bitty, not even a full print of someone's shoe that was found outside of the door. Not a big deal. I mean, this is one of the most talked about details. A single latent shoe print outside the surviving room door. No trail, no multiple prints, just one. Why do we only have one visible latent print? Why was it only a partial transfer? Did someone allegedly put their hand in a shoe and make a print right there? In a chaotic scene, don't you expect more footprints? Hello? Hello? Just one little half latent footprint, and then it was wiped up. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. No footprints around the house. Limited mention of any exterior prints near the fence area other than that one, again, just one foot that they captured on the fence line. We're talking about entering, committing multiple violent acts, and then leaving. So there were no outdoor impressions that they could get, none with blood. I mean, you have to look at the dirt versus hard ground, weather conditions, time delay before processing. I mean, what time did CSI get there to process all this? Then, is the lack of prints unusual or just misunderstood? And this is what I thought about. I really did. The murderer never left the house. The murderer never left the house. It makes no sense. The latent prints that I showed you on the sliding door, they believe that to be a key of entry exit. There was some on the inside and the outside, but very little detail, hidden deep in the reports. I mean, you saw how I had to pull them out. They couldn't exclude certain people. If someone used the door what should we expect to find? Better prints than that for sure, especially if there was blood. It makes no sense at all. Oh, and then the toe print. The one little possible toe print on Xana's nightstand. One of the most unusual details mentioned. Not a shoe, not a boot, a toe. Was it transfer evidence? Sock versus barefoot? Blood transfer versus dust? I don't know. But what scenario would create a toe print, but not any more than just one toe print? Oh, yes, and the sheath. Of course. Oh, well, we can't forget the one that I pointed out just last week. We can't forget the palm print. Just one single palm print on the sheet on Xana's bed when people were thinking it was a boot print. Nah, it was a palm print. Because they went back and had to get better prints, better palm prints, people. We need better palm prints. You know, the little picture that I tried to draw my best. Just one. Just one? And then the knife sheath. Well, let me roll back just a minute. There were mentions of the possible palm print on the bed. Now think about it. That suggests some contact during the attack, before cleanup, from a victim, a suspect. It matters. Context matters more than the print itself. How did it get there? Now, this is very careful. You just saw the documentation on Morris. He learned there was a knife sheath found the next day. A couple of other officers noted that they found out it was the next day. The knife sheath was one of the most critical pieces of evidence. Right? I would say so. So why did they change the evidence and give it a new item number? What? What are you talking about, Phoenix? Yes, folks. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. You aren't going to believe it. I caught this and I thought, why is no one talking about it? This changes everything, folks. This changes everything. Item 22, DNA extracts for a K-bar knife sheath. What the frick? What? What? Y'all, some days I can't, but I had to today. Item 890, DNA extracts for the K-bar knife sheath, Lab 22. But wait, we were told the K-bar knife sheath was Lab 1.1, weren't we? Item 1? Yes, folks, we were. And that's factual. I'm going to show you. Item 1 said it was the knife sheath. And what did they do? They changed it to item 22, portions of the DNA extract item 1, when they knew the chain of custody was broken. In black and freaking white. They knew the chain of custody was broken. And they went back and they labeled it DNA 22 right on the state's exhibit list. And if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. Somebody can chime in and say, oh no, you got that wrong. Anybody. The state's exhibit list right here, 890, K-bar sheath, DNA extracts, item 22. Yes, folks. Yes. Busted. Busted. And the MPD on the report says sheath was listed at 11. I'm wrong sometimes, multiple mamas, but I correct it if I'm wrong. And item 890, if you remember in the MPD files, the evidence logs that I've always showed you, 890 DNA extracts, they took that in May 21, 2024, evidence 890. Why did they need to make new evidence? Why did they have to rename the evidence? Why did they have to go and get new evidence and give it a chain of custody? Was it because they got caught when item 1.1 was said by the forensics guy? Hey, it was opened and all I did was put tape on it. I resealed it. Yeah, they returned it. Guys, this is wild. And you know what didn't make sense to me? Why they kept leading us and misleading us in this case, especially the media, especially the alleged paid narrative police. Didn't make sense to me until I realized it feels like just one story after the next. And then, of course, this is a sensitive topic, very sensitive. The expert said that things were staged. What things were staged? All the things I just talked about? All the things, yep, they bought the new, yes, they did, for control. I wouldn't say this is new evidence. I think Anne caught on to what was going on. She had them go back and fix the evidence, rename the evidence, go back and fix it through the experts. The physical no, it doesn't. The physical evidence rules out a suicide. No, it does not. It absolutely does not. If you ask an expert to go look at the crime scene pictures, there was no cross DNA. There was nothing found in Maddie and Kaylee's room that would indicate that they were attacked by the same person. Ethan, under Maddie's fingernails, had a high volume of Ethan's DNA under Maddie's nails. But then I started looking at something else. They said the scene was staged and the bodies may have been. Let me go right to that document. Let me go back to that document because that was actually scrubbed too. And thank God I downloaded them. I think, hold on a minute. What was the name of that document? Hold on. It's in the court repository. Let me grab it. It was limine. Was it S1? Exhibits request for the defendant's 24th supplemental. Let me see if it was this one. No. Which document was that? Request for discovery. 24 times they asked for discovery. It was exhibits. Redactions. Let me look at this. S1 disclosure. It was redacted. Rebuttal. Unredacted. Unredacted. What number was that? Does anybody remember? Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I've got it. I can open it back up. Downloaded. And that was motion in limine. I think it was 5. Here it is. The expert document. Let's get to this real quick. Okay. Turvey reports that the knife sheath was staged for the following reasons. And I agree, probably because it was found the next day. Some officer said, wow, they found a knife sheath. That's really strange, right? You start questioning the narrative. By altering, fabricating, or planting evidence in relation to the crime scene. The K-bar was discovered in the crime scene by law enforcement. Evidence of staging with respect to this item as follows. The sheath was found precariously placed just slightly under the body of Maddie Mogen and partially covered by the comforter that was placed atop the midsection of her body of the suspects. It could have not fallen accidentally into this location. Then he gives the reference of the picture, which they're not going to show us. And then the rebuttal was the sheath could have become trapped, where she moved her left leg out of the bed and then hurried and moved her left leg. I don't think she was moving her legs. Then she would have taken time to move the comforter, in which the sheath would be trapped between her, the comforter, and the bed. But if you watched the other day, I gave you, in fact, the freaking imprint on Maddie's body. There was no way Maddie was moving. They had to literally hold Maddie together to get the weapon imprint. There's no way she was moving. There's absolutely no way in my mind that she was moving. So then you look at the next expert, it would say it would be reasonable for the sheath to be in this location because the evidence indicates that Kaylee and Maddie were the first to be killed. And then they give the picture, but we can't see the picture. Dr. Turvey also concluded that Gonzalez and Mogen were the first to be killed. So they all agreed that Maddie and Kaylee went first. And I don't think Maddie was moving her leg after that type of assault. The sheath was new and unused, as indicated by the absence of damaged or wear to leather. Now, let's go to the bodies. The bodies of Kaylee and Maddie were located, yada, yada, yada. They were found lying on their backs. Kaylee was partially lying on top of the right arm, right shoulder, and upper torso of Miss Mogen, as depicted in the picture here that we cannot see for view after comforter is removed. So the comforter was on top of both of them. They removed the comforter. Okay. No blood is noted on the bottoms or tops of their feet, indicating they were not upright or moving about the area after the bloodletting injuries were inflicted. Now, it just says they weren't moving upright or moving about the area. So how can they contradict themselves and say, oh no, she could have been moving her leg and this and that, but yet I just showed you the infliction? The bottom of the sheet is visible and limited to the upper portion of the bed sheet, approximately chest level. No bloodletting injuries were reported below the waist or on their backs of either Kaylee or Maddie. And then this picture showed Kaylee's sleep pants, the blood, and the lack of blood on their sleeping pants further supports the conclusion that Kaylee never stood up after her bloodletting injuries to her upper body were inflicted. There were no drip trails, no blood noted on the bedroom floor, no nothing. So obviously, if they were unalived first, how did Kaylee run down the stairs and say someone's here and not dial 911, not leave, not go to the bathroom and lock herself in a bathroom? How did Kaylee get back upstairs? Well, that's the narrative that we were sold. Now, they did say that there was redistribution of blood stain on the south side wall, and the pool of blood of Kaylee within the thigh region of the comforter indicated her posture and position changed during this event. Now, she could have been stabbed and the killer put her on top of Maddie on her right arm, right shoulder. I don't know who covered them. Somebody covered them. Don't know who. I don't think the killer did. Honestly, don't think the killer did. But who did? And they talk about the cast off, and yes, they did say that it is possible the killer did stab and then place Kaylee there. I mean, you have to go through these documents very meticulously. And the impact splatters above the wall of Kaylee. I mean, this is pretty intense if you want to go through this. They look at flow patterns, splatter stains. I mean, they spent a lot of time on Maddie and Kaylee. But this never made sense why Ethan's DNA was so high under Maddie's nails. The mixture of DNA. Whose mixture of DNA? Then we say, well, they don't give us complete forensics for that. There's so many missing reports. Way too many. Way too many. We got the talk screen. And Ethan was the only one with high levels of, they say it was Adderall. It never made sense until Hunter said he never went upstairs. Well, he said he checked Xana's pulse. How is that possible if she's laying there with blood all over? There are so many more reports. So many more. Now let's get into this last one. And this is going to be big. I want you guys to take a deep breath. If you all are following me so far, we talked about everything that didn't make sense. The movement during the struggle, post movement, I don't think it was very natural. Because then that says that either the whole house was targeted and Maddie and Kaylee went first, but position alone doesn't equal intent, but it can raise some questions. How did Kaylee get there if she was downstairs running down the stairs? But when you take a step back, you don't see one smoking gun inconsistently. You see little bits and pieces, fragments. You see a single shoe print, limited exterior tracking, partial latent prints, a sheath with no weapon, each one on its own explainable. But altogether, it invites scrutiny. Very much so that we are asking the questions. How? How did all of this not add up? Because in a normal case, everything would add up. Everything would add up. I talked about the Corey Richens case. Everything was adding up. Everything was adding up. What's one thing that you would like to see in this case? All these things don't add up. What's one thing that you would like to see in this case? I'll wait. Everything unredacted. There's no way they could have considered this case solved. Justice. Redactions removed. So if we hypothetically take Dylan out of this equation, just take her out of the equation. Her fingerprints didn't match. We still have 3 that Brian freed, Justice busted. The whole house was a target. Notes on the running man, naked running man. I've never seen this naked running man. Not 2 months ago, 2 lives ago. Interview Ann Taylor, Truth, Freedom, and Justice. Yeah, she's sus. I think she was sus with MPD because look, if I could see one thing right now, I would love to see item number 866. Dylan Mortensen, allegedly, I'm just saying that's DM, Cellbrite information. I mean, they blasted Koberger's Cellbrite information all over the freaking internet, guys. 866 MPD, Cellbrite information for DM, right there in black and white. 866. I would love to see item 866. Of course, everyone thinks she's sus. Of course. Of course. You know, when people say, oh, it was Bethany's fingerprints because she lived there. Well, they were Dylan fingerprints too, all over if she lived there. But look, they went back 1/11/24, almost a year later, and got DM's Cellbrite information. I don't see Cellbrite information from anyone else. None. Until BK's vacated, the justice system stands as a crime and a conviction. Okay. So let me ask you, if we take this a different route, now that you've heard Officer Morris say, I would have never believed this was a murder-suicide because it doesn't make sense how the murderer got out. How did the murderer get out? Think about that, folks. How did the murderer get out of this house? Did the murderer get out of this house? Did the murderer get out of this house? Did they? If she took Murphy out, then why the F is her prints not on that door? Well, remember, the prints were latent prints, used Amido Black, and the report said a weak positive. Let me get you the forensic reports. A weak positive is blood. Let me go and get it. This was the unlocked bedrooms. They used chemical testing on L. Let me just grab it real quick right here. Positive, negative, red circular splatter. Let me grab it. Where is L5? East bedroom. Sliding glass door. Red diluted stain on tail of folding table. Positive for blood, second edge facing wall. 2 diluted stains, north side stairs, half wall, blood results, positive. Where is L5? Hold on, I'm going to find it. It's here. I've seen it. 1 linear sliding glass kitchen, brown drip, where the faucets and base, no. Kitchen inside of handle, interior, very small stain, not that one. East bedroom floor, red swipe on door, inner edge was blood. All this was positive. South side entry to door west, bedroom 2, diluted blood. Hold on a minute. You got to go through the actual written. L5, amino black, amino black, amino black, L5, L slide, kitchen inside, sliding door, interior handle area. Hold on a minute. That was Eric Gower, Prius, dark. Content search. He consented to that search. Kitchen. Oh, those were fingerprints. Sorry. Hold on. Let me go back up. It's here. You just have to go through all this stuff. I showed it in a video of mine. It does say positive, presumptive, low, weak. Let me look at L5. Hold on. L5, amino black, slider interior, digital image. Digital image. Gosh, hold on. These were the prints, no hit. Let me get to the forensics part. Hold on. Black. Oh, I'm sorry. It's under Martinez. Hold on. Let me grab that document. It's 1 and 2. L5. Latent prints. That was 1. Let me grab 2. Hold on. Those are digital. Where's my forensics report? Here it is. L5. This is wild. I had to go through all these reports just to find this. It said weak, positive. Even though it said weak, positive, it did test positive for blood, even though it was weak. Absolutely wild. And then the one person went to the hospital. Possible, I believe that was someone. I believe it was someone. So how did the killer get out of this house without leaving any footprints behind? I'll get you that positive. I made a video on it. L2, L5. Amito Black was present. And here was the report. I just had to skim it. And then this report still. Presumptive blood. Oh, you guys can't see this. I'll put that up there. Hold on. It still blows me away when they say drugs, paraphernalia, trace, sharp edge weapon, blunt weapons, firearms related. So everything that they have been telling us doesn't add up. But you know what adds up? If I gave you a scenario, do you think that this would add up? Think about this. Let's just hypothetically think here for a minute as I scroll through this. Where is L5? Hold on. I got to read through all these again. Transfer, blood, presumptive brown stain, consumptive, they took everything. Kitchen sink, handle, kitchen cabinet, north wall, south wall, presumptive, door, entryway inside, bedroom 2, garbage can, 2 red swipe marks near linear stains on the garbage can, bedroom door, 3rd floor, inner edge, red swipe, floor outer, stairway, sink, cabinet. I know it's in here. I made a video. L5, it was Amito Black, card, Martinez did all that. Latent's processing. Did all Amito Black processing. Tara Martinez. Baseboard Hall. That was, and yes, this is another question too, because Eric Gower was obviously cooperative with the police, gave all his documents, his car. They interviewed him. They checked out his car for everything. No staining observed. Black glove. All this stuff was documented, and they never found anything on Eric Gower. Yes, he's sketch, but they never found anything on him. And that is why the other day when I made that video about Byron Jensen, was it Braden Jensen? Was it Braden Jensen? Hold on a minute. Oh, yeah. He called the girls dumb. He did say that in his interview. Okay? He did say that. When I made this video, that video caused so much conflict. Oh my God. Let me just tell you, that kid was basically saying, everyone, look over there. Don't look here. Don't. And I think that's when Dylan took a shower over at their friend's house. Okay? Remember, they gave her clothes and a blanket and everything. They admitted that they did that. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like she took a shower, I think she took a shower. I've never seen the naked man. I've never seen the naked man. If somebody can tag me in that, please do. So when I made this video about Braden, he was telling them to go look over everywhere else, but don't look here. And I've never seen report 42. I've never seen evidence of of JD's fingerprints. Ever. Never seen them. Yeah, she took a shower somewhere. Okay, I only heard about. Why do you think that is? Do you think anything on 4chan was true? No. Check Insta. I sent you the link. Okay, great, Amanda. Hold on. Because I am sucking over here for my memory right now. Let me see. Could this be notorious naked man running from 1122? Oh, interesting. Who is Emily Bruin? Why is she raising money for Dylan? What? Oh, there's some dodgy stuff going around. I've never seen this. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me grab this video. Holy moly, I've never seen this video. Some naked guy? What? Could this be the notorious naked man? Has everybody seen this video except for me? See, I don't watch any other creators very hardly unless somebody posts me. This is what I agree with, in my humble opinion. It was to divert from the truth. No, BF said naked man in an interview. Where, Heart of Gold? Where did she say naked man? Because I did not see that in any statement. Nothing from the MPD. We have not heard any release of a naked man in any videos. No interview. If you get it, send it. She did. Okay, someone tag me in that. I would love to be able to see that. I told you guys if I had more information, I'll go scrub and find the internet for this naked man. Yes, he's factually innocent. We know that. I heard it in the news. What interview? There is no video. It was a document. Okay, tell us the document and I will go look. I don't think this crime took a lot of planning. I think the diversion of this crime, the truth of this crime, took a lot of planning. I believe the crime happened and it took a lot of planning and coordination to cover it up. I do believe that. I've never seen a naked man. Okay, I've got the link right here. Let's watch this. I don't know if this is a factual video. I don't know if it's legit. I haven't had time to look into this, but let's see if this is true. Now, this angle looks like it's coming from, I don't know. Is this inside somebody's house? Mute the sound because the fact that I'll get a copyright hit from the music. Let me throw this up on the stage. There we go. All right, this is from Bubbly Waters, it looks like, Amanda. She sent me this. And let's watch this video together and then let's talk about it. There was no way, when, or where that video was taken. A photography class? Don't know. It's not even clear. Bingo, the murderer never left the house. Nope, don't think he did either. And I say it's a he. I say it's a he. Okay. Let's take this off the screen. Let's make this large and let's see what we have here. Never seen this before. It looks like that is a truck. Where is this location? That looks like a red car here. Anybody know where this is located? It says 1122 King Street, King Road. Let me grab a officer's body cam. We'll compare it to, I think Snyder has a really good view from that angle. Let me go to Connor real quick, grab Snyder's body cam. We can see what cars are parked there. Nunez has a good one, but Snyder does the walk around. So Warner does a good walk around too. So let me grab Snyder. He's got right there in that cul-de-sac. Hold on. and see if this could be factual. So let me see if he's got a good angle of the corner. All right, let's see. I've got that queued up. Okay, let's watch this video. He's running in between cars. Well, I want to see what cars he's running in between because I'll match it up. Hold on. Here we go. So the light goes on. Wait a minute. The light goes on. Is that... what house is that? The light goes on. That guy looks like he's got a sweatshirt on. What? I'm going to play this slow. You know me. I'm looking at all angles. We're going to slow this down. This isn't even a very clear video. Who took this video? That guy looks like he's got clothes on to me, but I could be wrong or they blurred it. It looks like he's got a sweatshirt on. What time of night was this? What time of night was this? That guy can't even see crap. That guy's not naked. Come on, who believes this? What? You guys expect me to believe this, right? Are you trying to prank me? Where does this guy go? Doesn't look like he's running. That looks like it was sped up. Where is he going? He doesn't come out the other side anywhere? Did he go into that house? Looks like he's got pants on. I saw black. This is interesting. Hold on, I'm going to slow this down and play it slower. No, it looks like he's got black pants on, guys. Now that's what we call a prankster. How could you even tell if he's naked? Someone had to have. Amanda, can she click on that link? Oh my gosh, he was holding something in front of him. I don't see naked. An article said she saw a naked man and found the bodies. Where? I don't believe that for 1 second. I have never seen an article on Bethany finding naked bodies. Bethany font. Naked man. Let me see. I'm going to even go back all the way to freaking Wayback Machine. According to the affidavit, she allegedly witnessed a naked man running through a rear slider. How could she see a naked man running through the rear slider if she's on the first floor? This was made by the Mirror, guys. Are you really going to believe the National Enquirer? Surviving roommate. There is nothing in the documents that I have seen in the court records that say this. Remember, alleged. However, she could be one of the survivors that, yada, yada, yada. She allegedly witnessed a naked man running through the slider. It doesn't say she saw a man naked running through the slider. And then it also says she came face to face with the alleged killer. She lived on the first floor of the home and came face to face. Who in the hell wrote this article? She is alleged to have saw or heard things that could be crucial. What? According to police, it was Mrs. Funk who found the bodies. and now disputing the request to appear as she now lives in Reno, well, in Nevada. What? Okay, so it was alleged. It's not true. It was alleged. Running through the rear. How could she see? Okay, that would mean she was on the second floor, if that was true. That would mean she was on the second floor. I just showed you the article. I just showed you the article. It was supposed to be exculpatory. She doesn't mention anything about a naked man in any of the reports. We didn't say it was true. Bethany found the bodies. Well, if Bethany, I'm still wondering who went over to Josie and Lyndon Beck's and they got her stuff and went back. I'm wondering. I would love to read the investigator report. It's in the documents. I didn't say I believed her either. I was just sharing the link. Okay, got you. Maybe she saw a naked man when she grabbed her chips. I tried to find multiples and I came up with nothing. I'll look for it. Well, the back patio was lit up like Vegas. Well, you've got a point, Lay. You've got a point. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's get a check. Are you guys want me to go on? Because I've got a lot more. We've been at 156.26. Drop a 1 if you want to hear more of what I got. If not, I can save it for Monday. A crazy naked guy attached for no reason. Okay, so let me do this. Let me give you a overview scenario. We've got possibly Bethany, we've got possibly Emily, and we've got possibly Hunter Johnson. Prince. Forensics Prince. Okay? If you got to leave, Amanda, we understand. We love you, girl. Now, if that is factually true in this house, how did the murderer escape? Yeah, it's stuff from 3 years ago. So, how did the murderer escape? Nah, it wasn't a murder-suicide. I flinched at that one. It wasn't drugs. We flinched at that until we see that, Ethan's drug toxicity levels kind of high. And we also flinch at the fact that nobody is telling the truth. Nobody's telling the truth. Now, what if, I'm saying what if, we're going to speculate here for a minute. What if Hunter was, obviously distraught, found the bodies, touched them, tried to wash off his hands, grabbed the knife. He didn't know if the killer was still in there. What if all that's true and then they went out the back door because they didn't want to go back down, back to the crime scene? Let's just say they went up that way. That could have been possible. Very possible. That's one scenario. But something struck me very odd when I went back over the reports last night. There was a comment by Ethan's sister that struck me as very odd. Struck me so odd. And I thought to myself, let's just take a step back. They were not transported to any other location. They weren't tortured. Their limbs weren't cut off. You see their fingerprints. You see the autopsies. There was nothing indicating that there was maybe more than one. Well, there was maybe more than one weapon. We know that. Okay. Even the investigator says you'll have to ask the G family. And I kept thinking, if there was a gunshot, who would be the most likable person in that house that would have some type of protection like that? Who would be the most logical person in this house that would have some type of 2A protection. 2A protection. And I boiled it right down to Kaylee. I think Kaylee would have some type of weapon to protect herself. Why? I have seen pictures of her practicing. I have seen pictures of her parents carrying weapons. They believe in 2A. And I believe it would probably be Kaylee. She would fight, kick back, and if she had to stab or shoot someone, she would to save her own life. She was into true crime, folks. She was into protecting. She was into looking out for other vulnerable women. She was looking at sex offenders. She was looking at crime in the area. She was looking at other people that were missing and she possibly had found and contacted the police. She was very assertive. And yes, there's even videos of her shooting weapons. I've never seen anything about Maddie. I've never seen anything about Xana or Ethan. I'm only basing off of what I've seen. She pulled Maddie away from the bar. She knew Maddie was drunk and running probably, her mouth. Most people do run their mouths when they're drunk. And, going back to this picture that we just looked of the naked man, the video, I don't think that was from this area. Is it possible? Sure. The only question is somebody had something on camera, possibly, and they blurred a lot of it out because this kind of looks like that angle. We know that there were floodlights on this house right here. This house could have had floodlights that walked, on, and they could have just walked right over here to this house. Maybe somebody was leaving. It kind of looks like the area for sure. Somebody could have just, let me exit that. Somebody could have took it from this angle over here, and that's the angle right here that I was trying to match up. So it looks like maybe somebody got video and maybe recorded something on their phone right there at that angle. Somebody walks through, but it did look like maybe somebody had clothes. This is the car that was parked there. The other video wasn't that great. It was really hard to tell. So I don't know about that video, guys. I don't know if it's a fake or they were just trying to get us to believe there was some naked man and maybe a possible crime of passion or a love affair, triangle, whatever. Okay. So I'm just thinking. Now, it was Kaylee's, I want to say aunt. No, if it was Christy's niece that was at the nurse and said that a party had gotten shot up, why? Arizona doesn't require permits. He didn't look naked to me either. Okay, so let's think about this for 1 second. Maisie said this. I asked for her interviews, but haven't gotten anything back yet. And I try not to tell everybody everything I've asked for because everything I ask for, somebody goes and asks for it too. So I'm just saying. Idaho murder victim sister reveals weird text from brother. And I thought, why would this be so weird? Right? Boise, Idaho. Idaho murder victim Ethan Chapin's sister shared the last text to the University of Idaho freshman sent her just before he was killed in a near campus home on November 13th. So how would Maisie know that Ethan texted her just before he was killed? Anybody have an answer for that one? Put on your logical thinking cap for this. Why is this weird? Why? Why is it weird? Why is it weird that he would text her right before he was killed? Why is it weird? Does other people text people right before they die? Or they know? If Ethan had his phone, why would he text her? Yeah, most people don't. Most people don't. And when it comes from her own mouth that said she went to the formal, invited Ethan to be her date since she did not have one and his friends were going. I usually don't invite anyone to formals, but some of Ethan's friends were going and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, you can just be my date. It'll be super fun. They left the formal at 9 when some students went on to Ethan and Hunter's fraternity house. Maisie stayed behind. For some reason, I stayed behind and went to bed. Except Ethan kept texting me, Maisie, come hang out. I went to sleep, so I wasn't responding to any of them. I got hiccups. Last one said, I love you, which is weird because we usually don't say that to each other. It's weird in general. Maybe this was written after the fact and she realized it. How do we know the killers had his phone? Come on, guys. How did we know the killers had his phone? Make sure when you make a statement you have factual information. Make sure. What did it say? Just what she just said. It said, I love you, which was weird because we don't say that to each other. Now, if they don't have a relationship, I mean, some of you guys have this relationship with family members, which is great. If you don't have a relationship with your brother and all of a sudden out of the blue they say, I love you, and then die, what do you think? That is just weird. You may want to read the report from 90. All right, let me go to 90 report. Let's see what it says. Let me make this smaller and get to 90. And some of these are out of order, so it's like you got to go on a Easter egg hunt. Let me go down because it starts with 100. 90. 73. See what this one is. Okay, let me go down. Let me see if it falls under here. Oh, 7. I don't know why they do this. 79. 79, then 7. Then 80. 81. Maybe we'll get lucky. 84. 85. 89. 90. Nope. 89. 8. Oh, 90. Dustin Blaker. Interview with Bethany F. Let's see. The front door stated Kaylee moved in August 3rd. Dylan and Kaylee moved in August 3rd. Stated Ethan had his own apartment, but not sure it was located. Bethany stated Maddie kept her same room from the year before. Maddie's room was located on the 3rd floor. Xana used to be in the 2nd floor. Did you know it was alleged that Emily Allant actually lived in the 1122 the year with Xana? I did not know that, but I think someone got it wrong. That's why I said alleged. Murphy's dog. What am I looking for, Amanda? Any hints? Any hints? Boils down to timing. I think she may have had the phone. May have had the phone. Yeah, they did. He did leave his phone, and they were taking pictures on Ethan's phone. I remember that. I remember that. Let me just take a look at that. Okay, Kaylee was dating JD. Hold on a minute. All right, so what am I looking for, Amanda? What am I looking for? You might want to read 90. Hanging out with Kai Davis, who is blank, but they are not serious. JD recently broke up with, yep, Xana's big. Mason was Xana's big. Okay, she knew CB, Cole Beringberger, and she asked him that she not be asked, what am I looking for? Does it say something about the naked man? Let me see. Let me see. ASB have gotten leave, log for password, Wi-Fi. ISB and AO said that A used to live in, yeah, used to moved out of the house. Yes, that's true. I asked B about A, blank. A had moved out. Ava, or who is that? AC? Ashlyn Couch. She had moved out. All right. Then B said Kaylee and Maddie would use the house as an office. I asked B if any of the girls lived at the house had odd jobs, worked at the company from home. Maddie, and sorry guys, I speed read, so I had to use alcohol and drugs and used Adderall, took a pill, crushed it up. Asked B if there's any stated through complaint and registered offenders. We know they were registered offenders. I told you where they were, found them registry. They were still there in the area, right around the corner on Walenta. As B, other victims had weird anything. No, there was an incident where a male had followed her around the store. We know about that one. They interviewed him. B told her roommate she found the door open, grabbed golf clubs, other roommates around the house. Kaylee told everybody about the incident about the male watching her watch Matt Murphy back from the bathroom. Okay. Got living room gone. She felt it was between 11 in the morning. Check my friend, find my friend's app. They were at Taco Bell at the time. They brought her back something. We know that belonged to S and located on the second floor of the building. She stayed between 11 and 12. Kaylee was at the Whites. Kaylee left for the Whites before the rest of the group. B stated they left around 2 p.m. with Maddie, and Ethan, and S. Stated that she'd been drinking, also playing a card game, Rage Cage. Oh. Left with Xana, Maddie, Ethan at the Whites. Ethan had left before her and Xana. B went to Xana and AP went to Taylor. And they went back. That was the treehouse, 1800. They went and took a nap. They all woke up and got ready for the party. Maddie and Bethany left first to go to Peyton's apartment. Someone's apartment at around 2100. Kaylee stayed home and was not going to the party. Kaylee stayed home and was not going to the party at blank. Ethan and Xana came to the party before B. They did not come with the rest. They walked later. Maddie was not there for a very long time and went back to the house with Kaylee and left B with the friends. Yasina got to the blank and hung out with her, and then Yasina showed up about 11. They stayed at the apartments for a little longer, and then she went with Yasina to the main house of the fraternity. Bethany stated this might have been between 11:30 and 11:45. B says she hung out at the main house for a while. She left and saw Ethan and Xana in P's apartment. B stated this was around midnight. Bethany and Yasina went back to the house on Taylor, the tree house. B stated blank, blank, blank were only there at the house. Bethany stated she walked home about 1 and D and LM were the only ones at the house. B, D, and L were watching Vampire Diaries. They left. D went to her room and L left. Around 2 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie came home. Maddie, Kaylee, D, and B went up to Kaylee's room once they got home. Kaylee was getting ready for bed and they were hanging out in her room. B, Maddie, and D went downstairs, and Maddie and B took Murphy outside to let him go to the bathroom. B only stayed outside for a short time, and then she went back into the house and put something away in her cupboard and grabbed a bag of chips. B went downstairs to go to bed. What else am I looking for? She went to bed using her iPad. B said, tried calling Maddie. She went back to the house. She said I was wearing all black. She thought it was a firecracker go off and said she saw a sparkler through the crack under her door. Eventually turned the show off in her iPad. Okay, she said. Bethany admitted both her and D get scared easily. B even thought maybe one of Ethan's frat brothers could have been playing a joke. B told D, come down to her room, and D ran down to her room. Okay, so if B tried calling Z and Ethan's phone and no one answered, B said it was normal for Kaylee not to answer if they were sleeping. B looked at her phone and showed Bethany called Dylan. B looked at her phone and showed Bethany called Dylan at 4:19 and said at 4:20 and Bethany called Bethany back. During the call, B asked D if she heard a firecracker and D said she did. B could not recall if it was during this call where D was talking about seeing someone in black walking in the house. Once B and D were in B's bedroom together, they continued to talk about what they heard and saw. B told D that the male in black was walking out the back door and they might have made eye contact with each other. That was Dylan that said to Bethany that they made eye contact. B said D said the male was white with a big nose and he was possibly holding a small vacuum type object. B and D did not call 911 at the time because B thought D was imagining what she was talking about. B stated both her and D were still drunk and they were very groggy. B told me prior to hearing the firecracker, she may have heard Murphy bark. Also, what she thought was the beer pong table moving and cups falling. The beer pong table was located in the living room, which is above B's bedroom. B stated that she was not sure of the sequence of events. For sure, she knows she heard Murphy bark, the beer pong table, and then the firecracker first before she called D to see if she heard the same thing. B told me she was trying to call Xana and Maddie at 4:21 and tried calling Ethan at 4:22. B stated she tried calling Maddie, Kaylee, Xana several more times once D got into her room. B told me when she went to bed she remembers most of the lights being left on inside the house. B told me she was trying to contact the other roommates, fell back asleep, and woke up about 7:30 and tried calling her dad about her tooth. B called her dad again at 8, but there was no answer. At her house at 8:01 with no answer, and tried calling her mom at 8:02, and he answered and asked to talk to her dad. Her dad called back at 8:09 and talked to him. Her dad called back and he talked to him and eventually took. What? Her dad called back at 8:09 and he talked to him. Who's he? B then fell back asleep. B woke up about 11 and noticed no one else was in the house. Up, B stated. B woke up around 11 and noticed no one else was in the house was up. Where was D? Where was D? Did D leave? Did Dee leave? Listen to her statement. Listen to what Bethany states. Bethany fell back to sleep. Bethany woke up around 11 and noticed no one else in the house was up. Well, where was Dee? B stated she knew this because Xana's Snapchat location was not on and it should have been. B and D got scared because they should have been up. B then called her friend Josie and told her and D were scared and asked if she could come get them. D then called E and asked her to come over. D and B knew E was with H, so they knew he would come over with her. D and B knew Ethan was with H, so they knew he would come over with her. What? Did you guys read that? What? What the heck? D and B knew E was with H, so they knew he would come over with her. H arrived at the house and came through the front door. H went up the stairs first, and when she and D went up, H turned around and told D and B to get out of the house to call for help. B stated she could see Xana on the floor of her bedroom. So Bethany did find Xana. B said Xana was wearing underwear and a sweatshirt. B stated the door was partially open, but stated the door should normally be closed. B called 911 and was trying to talk to the dispatcher, but was having a hard time talking. B gave the phone to Josie so she could talk to the dispatcher. I asked B if she ever seen Xana on the floor like that morning. B told me she has never seen this, but heard Xana would pass out on the floor in the past when she was highly intoxicated. B told me H went back to the house. B could not remember if J and E went into the house. What? Josie and E? Who's E? Wait a minute. B could not remember if J and E. Who? Ethan? What? Now I'm really freaking confused after reading this again. E. No, it's not E. Well, then this reporter is calling them by their first names when typically you need to use their last names. That is so odd. That is odd. Why would they switch using first names? Wow. All right. So it says D and B knew Emily was with Hunter, so they knew he would come over with her. Got it. I wonder why he switched from using... Who is this that wrote this report? Blaker. Wow. Why is Blaker calling them by their first names? Wow. Okay. So now we've got Josie saying she went inside the house when in fact Hunter was telling everybody to get out. And Bethany doesn't even say anything about Josie. Wow. She was still on the phone, and when she disconnected with dispatch, B did not provide any further information. So Bethany, according to Lyndon, then Bethany called Josie. That was the redacted name. But who showed up at their apartment per Lyndon? Is everybody just telling a story? She said she didn't know if it was Josie or Emily. Josie was, yeah, she was smiling. I think everyone's lying. Everyone's lying. Everyone has lied. She's not breathing. She's passed out. She didn't say anything about blood. Did she say anything about blood? No. No. Bethany didn't say anything about blood either, and she didn't say anything that they saw Ethan. Yeah, it's Emily, not Ethan, because Blaker is calling them by their first names, which I'm shocked, because usually it's, I see it, Les, I see it. Usually they use their last names, not their first name. So Josie was smiling in the documentary. She said she didn't know if Josie or Emily went in. Nobody said anything about blood. Again, nobody said anything about blood. It's Emily. Hunter and Emily were together. They were staying the night. Wow. Wow, that's wild. That's interesting, Amanda. Thank you for that document. That's wild. I mean, I read these so long ago. It's like now some of this stuff is falling in place that we've reread. All right, so getting back real quick, getting back to Maisie and the reason why I shared this. Let me read on a little bit that Maisie had said. This is what Stacy Chapin said. It was cold and calculated and weirdly like an automated phone message. Stacy Chapin told Today, seeing Koberger in court, I mean, it's just like you expect someone you don't know, remorse, emotion, and there was zero. So Maisie basically says that her brother wanted her to come over and hang out and party, and she went to bed, and they hardly ever, message or not hardly ever message, but hardly ever says, I love you. And that was odd. And she says minutes before the murder. So how did Maisie know what time the murders were? Now, she said just minutes before the murders. Yes, Les, Phoenix, E is Emily. Yes, that is correct. It is Emily. I hear you. I'm reading the chat. I see the chat. I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I just said that Hunter was coming over to the house. All these different stories, they say D and B. They used first names. Yes, it is Emily and Hunter. I agree. Now, in another article that was written, sister of University of Idaho slain victim shares weird, final, heartbreaking text from tragic brother hours before his death. So one article says minutes, and this one says hours before the death. So if the police are telling us it was 4:17 that this all started, right? Yeah, I screenshotted them. I got these articles. And I've got both of these. I'll drop them in the chat so you guys can go read them to yourselves. Because I think it's important to share everything that we find. Because it's not just my word for it. You can go and look. Now, shoot. Why did it do that? Let me go back. Glad I shared it. Come on. All right, give me 1 second. It's going to go right back to that article. So now another article says that it was hours before the unalivings. Okay. Now, I'm going to get this one to come back up. So then it says that the sister of the university, yada, 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 she said it was weird when her brother texted her, I love you, after the pair attended a sorority formal together the night before the murders. Now, remember how I told you they've left Ethan out of a lot of things? They left, and you can go back a couple of lives ago, you can see that they left Ethan out of memorials. They left Ethan out of benches, and people have come back and said, oh, that's because X, Y, and Z, and yada, yada, yada. The Ethan's family didn't even go to any of the court hearings. They only went to the plea sentencing. They never went and gave a victim's impact statement, which is the most, I'm going to lose it, most important part of this whole crime is when you give a victim's impact statement. Would you guys agree? Have any of you ever been a victim? I have. And a victim's impact statement is huge. I mean, you saw what the G family said. I mean, seriously, drop your thoughts on that one. You heard what the victim's impact statements said. It is the most important part of a criminal civil trial. The most important part. Now, if Ethan's sister Maisie is the only one that got a text saying, I love you, and she thought that was odd, why wouldn't it be so odd to know or to think, how did the murderer get out of this house? We've all said it. We have all said it. Ethan was 6'4", no matter if he was hyped up on it, adrenaline was pumping, or how could someone overpower Ethan? If he was, let's just say he was drugged out and he was hyping and ready to go, he wasn't passed out. There's no freaking way anyone could have overpowered him. Yet no DNA in his room. No DNA in Xana's room. No other prints except for somebody kneeling down and maybe a handprint. Just one weapon said that was used, but then the law enforcement said, no, it could have been another weapon too. Maybe a second weapon. We know that maybe a second weapon was used. And then one latent footprint by Dylan's door, like just a partial, like maybe somebody put their freaking hand in a shoe and just left a print, but no other prints leading out. How did the unaliver get out of here clean? They had a kill kit. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me, guys. No, I got it, Les. I got it. So if you think about it, why is this so important? Stacy Chapin goes to CrimeCon, but not court is odd. Victim's impact statement is very important. Yes, Holly, you're correct. This is huge. She immediately wrote a children's book. The what? I think it was called Boy Blue or something like that. Anybody know let me look it up. Hold on a minute. I mean, why is it not possible to speculate? I got you guys. I didn't see the chat. That's why. Yeah, I didn't see the chat. Because I was looking at documents. Okay, sorry. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. The boy who wore blue. The boy who wore blue. The boy who wore blue. I mean, could it be a metaphor? Could it be a metaphor when someone says, I've got the blues? Could it been a metaphor? Now, I've never read this book. Never read this book. Have only heard about this book. Never read this book. Okay. Now, when I played the video the other day, it was kind of like discovery. Like maybe they saw what had happened. It was awful. You know, the video at 9:17, 9:15 in the morning when somebody's smoking outside and all of a sudden, you know, you hear, oh my God. Now we're just speculating here. We're just speculating. This is all alleged. We're thinking outside the box and what we've been told that nothing adds up. And there's a reason nothing adds up. See, the crime itself, they were moving, not collecting crucial evidence. They needed to hide the entire house. How they do that? They demolish it. I love you. And she says that was odd. And the family's stance is so freaking odd. They wanted to not be a part of this, like they were like ashamed of something. And remember, I showed you guys, I showed you the Venmo receipts that Stacy had been sending to Ethan. I'm sorry. She sent Venmo to Ethan to play golf or to pay off his debt. And they would send money to Hunter and Maisie for doctors and meds. Now, I'm just speculating here, but when you have multiples and one is on meds for a certain reason and 2 out of 3 are on meds, maybe 3 out of 3 needed meds. He was obviously upset that he had to leave the frat house. They said he had an apartment, never knew where that apartment was. No public record of his apartment. Nothing. And then you see, you know, you are not with your brothers that you were living with for a year or two, whatever, how long. It's kind of sad. A whole change of routine. It is true. Genetics, you have to look at it that way. You have to look at it that way. And obviously, they're not telling us for a reason. All the other families were sketch. And in the beginning, you had Steve talk about Kaylee's charges. What charges was he talking about to see if he can get Kaylee's charges reduced? Did Kaylee survive? Did Kaylee actually, was she the one that discovered all this? You have to ask these questions. See, it's difficult to cover up a crime this magnitude, to keep the story straight, to keep the evidence with chain of custody, to actually have authenticity of evidence presented in court. And then you have Judge Hippler in a redacted, unredacted hearing say, well, if all these people come to court and somebody testifies and confesses, then great. But I'm not holding out for that. Yes. Yes. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get that screen that I recorded of Steve G saying that. Yes. See, but really solidified it for me was Connor getting that body cam. And we've all said it before. It's time the truth be told. It's time. Even if it's awful. But when you think about what he says for the whole world to hear now,
It's just hard to fathom how whoever did this didn't really leave a trail of where they went after. Like you would think
There's a lot of things about this.
in the background, Captain Lanier said, there's a lot of things about this that doesn't sit right. He was there from the beginning. You have to go back and listen.
It's just hard to fathom how whoever did this didn't really leave a trail where they went after. Like you would think
A lot of things about this.
when I first heard, which everyone
When I first heard, someone told him this was a murder-suicide.
I thought it was a murder-suicide. Like the victim, the suspect.
The victim was the suspect. But it doesn't look like that now. What the heck happened between finding these bodies? Then obviously a sheath appears out of nowhere. One officer is shocked by he was told they found a sheath. What really happened that night in Moscow? Unexplained evidence that doesn't add up together, only shared separately. How did the killer escape this house without being detected by forensics experts? In my humble opinion, they never left. They might have been carried out in a body bag. But you can't hear what Captain Lanier says. Hold on a minute.
And that cast.
You have to go back and listen to what Captain Lanier says. If you have headphones on, go back right at 11:54. It's right in between 12:04 and 12:12 when it's silenced. The closed caption doesn't pick it up. You know what? I could probably take a piece of this. Let me start it right here. I'll screenshot it real quick. I'll screen record it. I'll put it into mine, and then I'll see if it picks up all the captions. Hold on one second.
Like, you would think like, that's when I first heard, which everyone, like, no way. I thought it was a murder suicide. Like, the victim, the suspect was like, if it doesn't look like it, no.
And that
Okay, let me take it there.
past,
I'm going to stop it. Let me save it. I'm going to see if I can put it into mine and see if it will pick up exactly what Captain Lanier said. Because he says something to the effect, there's a lot of things in this crime scene. Hold on. Let me see if I can pick it up. And you're right. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. There was a huge heavy tote that they take into this little back of this car. The timestamps don't add up. I showed you that. The evidence separately by itself is like, okay, but when you piece it all together, does not make sense. And there is one other thing that I have on my notes of list is, and I want you guys to keep an open mind. Grub truck footage. I have got something I want you guys to take a look at, and I'll talk about it on my next live. Let me see if I can grab these captions here in this small clip. I think it's like maybe 47 seconds. Let me give that a minute to process. I'll come back to this clip in a minute. I want to add something into this stage viewer so that you can see this. And I have come through this video at the grub truck. When everyone says that Hunter is asleep in the room or maybe he was at his apartment, they weren't sure. I caught someone on camera that may or may not be Hunter over by the grub truck. Now, I've talked about this before. You know, if your woman is sleeping and you want to go out and party, some guys go do it. I've taken it 2 different angles. You're going to see 2 different angles when someone walks by.
You were the one looking for a comedy 5 seasons.
I've taken the picture in the video of him coming towards the grub truck. Let me grab that one.
Okay, it's decent.
That one's walking away. This one's walking too. This one is where he's walking up.
oh my goodness, it's like just far enough.
He was warming up. He's in the warmest spot now.
Did you take the hand warmers for like 10 minutes?
Let me see if I can fast forward this a little.
Whoa.
Here comes.
A lot. I know a lot of people that woke up dead. How many people do you know were born dead? That's a quote from the show. There's like this.
Now, I don't know if that's Ethan or not, but somebody had sent me a message saying, I think Ethan was at the grub truck. And that was earlier in the night and may have caught him on camera. So there's no way that he could have been in the room while Emily Allant allegedly was sleeping after working the football game. So Let me see if this video has add captions to it, and let's see. Let me see if it will play. Oh, it's buffering. Hold on. No, it didn't pick up his voice. This is what it picked up. Hold on. Let me save this and export it. God, I wish it would have picked up his voice. Dang it. But you can go and you can listen in. Just get a pair of good earphones. Play it slow. You'll play it a couple of times and you'll be able to pick up what he says. He says something to the effect, there's a lot about the crime scene, and I didn't pick up the rest. Let me save this real quick. And let me see if I can put this up here. That was very interesting. It's uploading. Hold on. So, what are you confused about, Mad Dog? Where are you at in the stream? Did you come all the way up or catch up to speed? Regina Long. I don't think they came home together either. I don't think so. She was seen at 2 playing a guitar and then placed an order for taco, whatever, Jack in the Box. It could be, we know multiple cops are dirty. We know that. Anything's possible. Everything was contaminated, guys. That should give us a clue that they didn't want us to know what really happened. Every single thing in this case was contaminated. Everything. Peckers. Gypsy. Oh, that's funny. I didn't say that was Ethan. I said that was, I'm sorry, Hunter. I'm sorry. Did I say Ethan? I meant Hunter. Sorry. In this video.
Yes.
Sorry. Hunter. I'm sorry if I confused anybody. In the audio, I hear Ethan was stabbed and people were screaming Ethan. Well, if Ethan was stabbed, why would people be screaming Ethan? Is that audio real? Are you talking about the audio from the 1112 security camera? Is that the thing you're talking about? I think, sorry if I said Ethan, I think this might have been Hunter. Hunter may have not been in his bed. Now, I don't know if this is or not. Someone told me this was Hunter. I said, I'll check it out. That was on the grub truck. I don't know if it was true or not. But if Lyndon said, I think he was in the room or he was in maybe at his apartment. I don't know. It was kind of odd. I hear Ethan has been stabbed and the people are screaming Ethan's name. Well, that doesn't make sense. Okay, you're talking about the security camera. At what time? At what time do you hear that? Because if Maisie says, and they quoted her on this, if Maisie says she got this text within a couple hours of Ethan's death or a couple of minutes, when did Maisie get this text? I would like to know when and what time Maisie got this text. No, I hear it on the audio. But which audio? I saw the gate. Okay. Which audio at what time? I took my meds and we're covered. I hear it on the audio. Well, whose audio? Is it the... Whose audio? The only one that I have looked at is Jules. You can watch Maisie's entire interview. Yeah, I've seen that. The only video that I watched that was released from the MPD was Jules. But what time? Or whose video are you hearing the audio? So if she, let's just say they say 417. Is that the audio at 417? Let me look at 417 if there's any audio. They say 417. Hold on. .417. Let's see. This is Joel's. So Linda Lane. Okay, True Crime Forensics has an audio about 2:20 a.m. 2:20 a.m. True Crime Forensics. Let's see. On YouTube at 2:20. 2:20. 2:20. .220. Let me see. I don't see audio noise remover program. Is this it sounds like Outcast. Is this Outcast channel? That's Outcast. Who is this True Crime Forensics? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going back to Jules' MPD release. And you know what? Let's go to 2:20 then, if you guys want to listen to 2:20. 2:20, wasn't that muted out? 2:20. 2:20. Let me see. Yeah, 2:20 was muted out. Odd, huh? How did somebody get the sound for 2:20 if 2:20 is muted out? Guys. 2:20 is muted, was said to be muted out. Who got audio for 2:20? Please share that. I want to know who got that audio. This was muted out. 2:27:14. 2:27:14 is 27:14 is muted out too. 2:27:14. How did they get it? 2:27:14 is muted out. It was released muted. He built his own program and enhanced it. 2:27 is the scream. 2:27 was muted out, guys. This is the one that was released by Moscow Police Department. 2:27 is muted. This whole entire segment is muted. It was all muted. The scream is at 2:27:14. Nope, we have it. Someone does. Who has it? 2:27:14 is muted per the Moscow Police Department. This is the official record. Right there. It's all muted. Even Birdie played it. Jules got it. The one I saw was for audio, no video. Jules got it. This is Jules' video. It's muted. 2:27. She says it was muted. Look, she's even got it on her thumbnail. Hold on. 2:27. 2:27. Unless it was this. How did she get two? One was muted, one wasn't. 2:27:14. Okay. This 2:27:14. So that sounds like some type of commotion that would line up with Lyndon Beck's statement that between 2 and 3 they were woken up. I just played you the video from Jules where they said there was no audio in that, and then here's audio. What the frick? That was audio. The audio said it was muted. On her thumbnail, it says muted. That was 2:25. That one's not muted. 2:25. The one that she says was muted was this one. Right here. 12:55 to 2:25. This all was muted. But she's got a little bit of overlap at 2:27. 2:27:14 here is muted. That one is muted. The other one's not. So that is the one that we hear the scream at 2. Boy, that's weird. So there is sound for 2:25 right here. 2:25, 2:27. I'm going to take a look at this. I was looking for the scream. So let's do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to look for the best quality of sound. Now, if somebody screams someone's name, is it to get them to stop? Or is it finding something? I'm going to go back and look at this, but how did the murderer leave the house with no evidence, no trace, no clues, and stump the forensic scientist of the day in the digital age we live in? How in the world did a murderer leave 1122 house? How did they leave? Did they leave in an ambulance or did they leave in a body bag? Your guess is as good as mine. I hope you guys rethink this whole entire case and the stuff that I've showed you today. If this was helpful for you to understand the Idaho 4 case and none of the evidence adds up, now you know why. Keep digging. Keep searching for answers. I know we're going to find them. Until Monday, keep showing up. Keep looking for the truth. Be well, everyone.
The file was cold, the leads long dead. Winter's chill had settled in.